Wendy, thank you so much, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here because, well, frankly, I think a lot of the people who are on this call, even as we speak, are probably great consultants. And the trick is, are you a consultant? Let's just get a quick show of hands. Just, are you a consultant? Now, if you did not raise your hand, you're wrong. You are a consultant. A consultant, and if you look it up and look up the etymology of consulting, it goes to consulere, which is to provide a sage counsel. That's right. We're supposed to be the ones providing sage counsel. And you can do that anytime, anywhere. You can be a great consultant at any given point in time. The problem is, for most of us anyhow, credibility. Becoming a great consultant means that other people look at you and go, wow, I really want to see what they have to say. I really care about what she has to say, what he has to say. So take, for example, we've got a variety of Anthonys on the call, so I'll assume that one of them is named Tony. And somebody goes to Tony and says those magic words. Hey, Tony, can you lend me a hand? That opens a door. Right then and there, that opens a door. You know, Wendy was rattling through my resume, which is very cool. And as you listen to that resume, I've had people say to me, wow, you've done a whole pile of stuff. And the answer is, yes, I have. And there's a reason I've done all that stuff. It's because I want to be able to provide sage counsel. That's really what it's all about, because it's not about me in a consulting relationship. It's about you. It is. It's strictly about you. It's always about the other party. And a lot of people are like, yeah, get to the point, though, because whenever a consultant comes into my organization, the moment she walks through the door, she's got all this boatload of credibility, and she'll say the exact same thing that I said 3 weeks ago, and they'll listen to her, but they weren't listening to me. Well, that's because she's probably a great consultant. She really is. And the reason or the thing that makes her a great consultant is not just the fact that she comes in with all that same insight. It's the fact that she comes in and she bears a lot of credibility and she has the background, the history. You know, I've been at this for a long time, but it was kind of interesting. The first time I really got nailed as a consultant, I was 33 years old. As you might guess by the thinning and graying hair, yeah, I'm not 33 years old anymore. And I was on a particular gig, and I had a guy walk up to me, and he said, you know, I got nose hair older than you. What can you possibly teach me? And I had only been consulting for about 2 or 3 years at that point. And I took a long pause. And I looked at him and I said, you know what? You're right. You're right. If you're just here to pick up on my insights, if you're just here because you care about what I have to say, then frankly, you're right. I'm not going to be able to give you anything. But you got to remember that in just the past few years, I have set foot in, sat down with, chatted with, and invested my time, effort, and energy with dozens and dozens and dozens of professionals who are putting up with a lot of the same crap that you're putting up with right now. And you know what? If you just wanted my insights, it's not worth that much money. But if you want all the insights from those individuals who have a lot of history, who have a lot of background, that's where the value is. The guy smiled and he looked at me and he said, wow. He said, that's a really good answer. And I was like, thank you. Thank you very much. It was a good answer. The key is when you're a consultant, that's what you need to be building, is that level of credibility. You need to be actually doing this, and you should be doing it while you still have a job. And there are two big aspects to this that we're going to talk about today. One is what goes into a consultant's toolkit. And if you don't have the tools, you can't do the job. And the second thing is, how do you actually, well, get your name out there? How do you get people to recognize you as the consultant? How do they actually see you as sage counsel? Now, first we're going to talk about building the toolkit, and building the toolkit involves these things. These are the things we're going to be talking about. And the fact that there are 100 folks on the call right now, you know what you have? You have a sponge mentality. That's a great thing to have, and it's of high value. The sponge mentality means you're doing things like this. Carl, excuse me, I'm only here for the PDUs. I don't care. I don't care why you're here. I don't care if you're here for the PDUs. I don't care if you listen to a TED Talk because somebody sent you the link and they're going to quiz you on it next period. The fact that you are soaking information in works to your advantage. And what you need to recognize about a sponge is it not only sucks information in, it also wrings it back out. That's right. A sponge works two ways. It really does. Also, if you've ever heard, and over the holidays, I can guarantee you'll hear this from someone. You'll see some small child, and they'll look at her and they'll say, "Oh, isn't she gorgeous? She just sucks up information like a sponge." Yeah, it's true. Little kids are the masters at this. And there's a reason for that. And there's a reason for a lot of you that our hour together is going to be a lot, more productive than a lot of hours you spend during the day. And that's because if you've ever seen a 2-year-old playing with a new toy, it's kind of an amazing thing. They'll sit there and you give them a new toy and they're just working it for the longest time. They'll be just driving at it, and then all of a sudden, they'll drop it as if it never existed. And they'll go on and play with something else. And you'll go back to them and you'll go, "Hey, didn't you want to play with the new doll?" No. They're suddenly completely disengaged. And you're wondering, what the devil happened here? They're sponges. They know when they're full. Yeah, they do. Yeah, 2-year-olds are very gifted at this, and it's the reason they can soak up information so effectively. They do so because they've got a sponge mentality. I will take in information. I will take in a short burst of information, and then I'm done. I'm out of here. And that is something that we need to take to heart if we're going to be great consultants. Some people have said, "Oh, no, you've got to read this book." And it's like, I do. I have just a staggering library of stuff people have told me you got to read. But I will never read for more than 45 minutes at a stretch. Why? Because in my mind, for reading anyhow, that's my level of endurance. At that point, I'm a 2-year-old. And at that point, every word on the page becomes the voice of Charlie Brown's mom. It no longer has meaning. I no longer care. I just want to slog on to the next page. Well, the sponge mentality works that way. We should be the ones who are taking in information, valuable information, information that we can share and wring back out and give to our clients in short doses, in little bursts. There's a reason most TED Talks are only between 8 and 15 minutes. The reason they're between 8 and 15 minutes is because somebody, whoever came up with the TED Talk, actually realized, you know what? People can't handle large volume doses of information. They want a burst. They want something where they're not sitting there going, "How long is this thing?" They want something where they can get value and get out in pretty short order. So you want to be a great consultant, one of the first things you really need to be doing is sucking in information. You need to be just an information vacuum. You do. And, every little thing that somebody shares with you has value. Oddly enough, we're using WebEx as our tool of choice today. And what's kind of compelling, I had the honor of working on WebEx with the people who created it. And what was funny was the very first time I got online with them, I said, and they said, "Turn on your webcam." And I said, I got a great face for radio, really. And they said, no, turn on your webcam. We're paying you for this. So I turned on the webcam, and the guy went, and I said, "Oh, thank you. That was so helpful." And he goes, No. He said, "Where's your camera?" And I said, "It's on my laptop."